So we're going to start with Denise Baker. She's a senior management professional with a significant record of achievement in the areas of business development, partnerships, marketing, strategic planning, and client relations. She is the director of the Harry B. Varshna Business Career Center at the Sauder School of Business. She's going to talk about translating her degrees in, she has a Bachelor of English Honors and a Master's of Library and Information Sciences into an interesting career journey. Denise has enjoyed a business career that encompassed publishing, travel, high-tech, marketing, strategic alliances, and education management. She brings an excellent interpersonal skills and analytical abilities, creativity, collaboration, and vision to successfully identify and grow market opportunities to leading international organizations. Today, she's going to share her story of how she moved from a Master's of Library Sciences to a high-tech startup company. Denise.
Thanks, Diane. Wow, that sounds like that took it right off my resume. So you gave a little resume tip there. So as Diane says, I'm going to just talk to you a little bit about the journey that I made throughout my career, post-academic. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, so I did an English degree and worked in publishing for 5 years after that as a sales and marketing rep, and that was really interesting, but I found it very cyclical and repetitive after a while. You know, there were 3 seasons. I'd go to see the same bookstores 3 times a year. We'd, talk about the books. They'd order 2 copies, and that was that. So I decided I wanted a bit more of a challenge in my life. I thought about doing a Master's of Business Administration, and then decided against that, mainly because it was more expensive than a regular Master's or an academic Master's. And also, well, in 1997, the MBAs students, I don't know if you know MBAs, I work with MBAs today, so I can say this, but don't tell them, that they're kind of know-it-alls. I didn't really want to hang out with all of those know-it-alls. And I would have had to have written the GMAT too, which I didn't want to do. So I thought, well, what do I want to do? I like books, so I like libraries, so maybe I should be a librarian. So I decided to enroll in the Masters of Library and Information Science. I decided to continue working while I did this, so I worked full-time while doing my Master's full-time, which was pretty challenging. Especially so because after a couple of months in the program, I decided that actually a career in librarianship was probably not for me. Again, it was a very structured environment, and I felt I wanted a little more flexibility and creativity in my job. Now, I continued and finished my degree, mainly because I'm not a quitter, and also because there were relevant courses I thought that I would still be able to take. So I took all the kind of non-library courses that I could. Because it's a master's degree, we did managing people, we did marketing, I did a course on competitive analysis, I still did a course on indexing, which has come in very handy, as you can imagine, in my career. But I did learn a lot of useful things. So when I finished my degree, I thought, well, what next? Well, it was 1997, and the internet was really just exploding. It was the beginning of the .com. There were a lot of startups in Vancouver, and everybody was talking about going public and having stock options and becoming millionaires, and I thought, yeah, that sounds like fun. So I did have a friend who worked in a startup here in Vancouver called Seagate Software at the time, and they made business intelligence software. Does anyone know what business intelligence is?
Sounds exciting.
Pardon me?
Sounds exciting.
Yeah. It's really about taking information in your company's databases, like your sales information, and creating reports that would help you make better decisions. So it really is about accessing information and providing good intelligence for a company. And I thought, well, yeah, I could probably get myself into that company. Did I have a high-tech background? No. Was I very technical? No. Did I have real experience in marketing and I was applying for a marketing position? No. Did I really, really understand what the company did? No. So how did I get myself into that company? Well, I did some research on the company's values. So I talked to people, I looked at their website, and really what their values were providing access to information to people. And I thought, well, that's kind of what libraries do. They provide access to information to people, so I can relate to that. They were also looking for people, because they were a startup, who wanted to work hard, who were passionate about what they did, and who were driven. And I thought, well, that sort of describes me. I did a degree while working full-time. I liked working hard. I was very organized. I could get behind the company vision about helping people make better decisions, and I could get behind the stock options and becoming rich. That was part of the company's mission, was going public. So I thought, yeah, I could get behind that. So I had some informational interviews, and as I said, it was a marketing position that I was applying for, and I was able to relate my skills in writing and communications through the degrees that I had. So even though I hadn't really been responsible for big marketing campaigns, I could show them that I had the skills in terms of clear writing. I could write for the web. I could figure out how to communicate a technical concept to an audience that maybe wasn't technical, and the proof I used for that was when I sold books to bookstores, I represented Microsoft Press, which is a very technical line of computer books. So I had to go to bookstores and try to explain to booksellers who knew less than I did about what Java was and what HTML was, and sound like I knew what I was talking about. So I was able to kind of relate all of these skills to what the company needed. And the company realized that I was a fit for them. So they weren't necessarily looking for somebody that had every single technical skill or experience that they thought they needed. They were looking for somebody that was willing to embrace the company vision and work hard. I mean, in these days with these technical startups, you were working 60, 70 hours a week. So the company wanted to hire people that you wanted to hang around with that much. So could you stand working with this person for 70 hours a week was another a big factor in them hiring people. So again, you have interpersonal skills, you have writing skills, and all of these things you can actually use to relate, to talk yourself into a job that isn't necessarily seeming like an obvious fit. I mean, moving from a library degree to a high-tech environment seemed like a pretty big leap. But I was able to help the company connect the dots to show them that actually I did have the ability to do the job and do it well. And I ended up staying there for 10 years. My last position was Director of Education Partnerships Worldwide. So again, I moved into something completely different. I left Business Objects, as it's now called, last September to move into this role, which is career counseling, business development, programming. Again, no background in HR, no background in recruiting, but the skills that I brought in terms of leadership, marketing, management, communications. Again, I was able to show the company, the university, that I was able to do this because of my background. And I'm here on a contract, so in August I'll be making another career leap, and who knows where that will lead me, but that's another story, and no time for that.
But you're confident the skills you have are transferable wherever
Yes.
you go.
Yes, absolutely.